Again. Next, one of the most inspirational stories of the week. I've been to meet an 84-year-old grandma who's hoping to change the lives of people like her who are living with multiple sclerosis. Glenn Mills has been using a wheelchair for well over 20 years, in fact, but when she gets into a wind tunnel, she's extremely graceful as a skydiver. I went along to see if I could fly with her.
Ready for takeoff. 84-year-old Glenn Mills has spent over 2 decades in a wheelchair because of multiple sclerosis and other health problems. But all that changes when she puts on her skydiving suit and throws caution to the wind.
Before, I was fairly sedentary in my chair, and there were so few things that I could do. And the minute I sat in there and felt the wind on my face, that was such a great feeling of freedom. It's changed my life completely.
Glenn has now completed over 6 hours flying time in the wind tunnel and says it's helped her to such an extent physically and mentally, and you can see how independent she's become in here, that she says as a result she's now got movement back in her knees and legs once again.
It's better than any medication because you get such a high. It's almost like euphoria for me when I get in there, and I'm reliant on nobody. I can get movement out of my knee. I can turn up both knees and get in and out of the chair.
Where Glenn then watched me, struggling to match her grace and movement as I battled to keep my position and line in the driving upward wind. And it's thought that it's having to control your body shape in such conditions is what's helped Glenn, and why the MS Society hope others follow her example and get more active now.
I think Glenn's an inspiration. She's amazing. Back in the day, doctors would advise people with MS not to exercise because they thought then it made MS worse. Actually, we now know the opposite is true. It can be as effective as taking a treatment. So it doesn't have to be skydiving, it could be something as gentle as a bit of gardening, but it all helps.
The exact science behind Glenn's regeneration isn't fully clear, and every case is different. But she's taken inspiration as well from the British athletes training around her. Al Hodgson lost his legs in an explosion while serving with the army, but has gone on to compete in World Championships and is the first para-athlete to get a silver medal in an able-bodied world event.
From being in that restricted kind of environment on the ground to suddenly being without any restrictions, it's just an amazing feeling for me. It's like breaking out of prison almost, and just being in this completely free environment. I just absolutely love it.
The skies are also opening up in an even more extreme way for Glenn, thanks to virtual reality goggles and a chance to join a team wingsuit flying.
The wind told me what to do. It just took me where I wanted to. I love it. I'm just going to keep going until they have to take me out feet first.
There we are, Glenn, helping to change attitudes and transform lives by now, following this advice that exercise can actually help. Be as good as treatment, we heard there, Genevieve from MS Society saying it can be as effective as treatment. Every case is different. Different activities, different sports will help different people, and the MS Society have got this Active Together campaign, which is free. You go on the website and they can advise you on which sport might suit you best.
How did she come to start that?
Well, basically, I mean, she almost put it to one side. She got an experience for Christmas from her daughter, and she was like, I can't do that, but of course went along eventually. With
Changed it up?
her husband, yeah, and gave it a go, and the moment she fell into the wind tunnel, had the wind in her hair, she was hooked.
Brilliant. Mike, thank you. Thanks very much indeed.
It's coming up to 7:45. Now, if you are travelling today around the UK, Michael, you need
It's flying. It's gone up.
you need to be really